Hi, it's time for Good Energy, and I'm Dr. Julie, and welcome to Bodyful Day 179 or 279. Hey, we are talking about shoulder pain and the senses. Today we are on day 7 of shoulder pain and the senses. I'm coming at you from a slightly different angle so you can see some of the stuff we're going to work on with the shoulder, because it's hard to do touch through a puffy jacket. And it's a little warmer today, which is why I'm out here while it's sunny, which means there's a glare, and the ring, it gets glared and all sorts of fun stuff. So hopefully this will help you see, even though it's not the best angle and timing. All right, so we are going to talk about the sense of touch, and we're going to talk about how you can use the sense of touch to help with shoulder pain. Now, we have been doing a lot of that when we talk about really the sense of touch, or when we talked about all of these senses. We've talked about the acromioclavicular joint, we've talked about working on the temporalis muscle, we've talked about sleeping on your side, we've talked about distraction, we've talked about a lot of things where the sense is what tells you what's wrong, and then the fix is something touch-based. So today we get to jump into the sense of touch, and we're gonna kind of hijack kinesthetic instead. So today we're going to talk about how to use the sense of touch to help with shoulder pain. But before we jump into that, let's of course start with our basics. Take a deep breath in and release. Deep breath in, expand in the belly, expand in the chest, expand in the sinuses, and release. And since we're talking about the sense of touch, think about how when your shoulder hurts, how there is tenderness in and around, that you can actually sometimes get tender to the touch, not just tender muscles inside. And let's go ahead and take a deep breath in and release. My neighbors are getting their roof fixed, or a new roof put on. So we're gonna hear a little bit of work, but hopefully you can hear me pretty well. Now, remember, our goal in this series has always been energy to heal shoulder pain, or heal shoulder pain equals good energy in minus stressors. And we've talked about how the senses can contribute to stressors. The sense of touch, when we think about gait theory and the gait theory of pain, if you pinch yourself while you have shoulder pain, it will feel worse. So if touch is pinch, if touch is pain, it will amplify the pain you already have existing. Think about when you stub your toe when you have a backache. Stubbing your toe when you have a backache, that whole pain is radiated or ranked as more painful and more annoying and more stressful than if you didn't have a backache. So the same thing goes with the sense of touch here. Touch can be more stressful when you already have existing pain. Can touch cause shoulder pain? No, usually shoulder pain is from deep inside or physical trauma. And so those two things are not, touch can't create shoulder pain unless it's intense. And in that case, I would say it's more kinesthetic and structural than it is just the sense of touch. So how can we use the sense of touch to help with shoulder pain? How can we use it as good energy in? And I'm going to give you 2 acupressure points that you can use. So of course, the interesting thing is how to find these acupressure points. The first one is large intestine 15, and large intestine, if you can find large intestine 15, it's pretty easy to find the next one. But both of them sit on either side of your humeral head, your shoulder ball, and what they do is that they are located along the tendons that make up part of your rotator cuff. And your rotator cuff is a combination of muscles and tendons that keep your shoulder ball into there's a small dip on the side of that acromion, which is, we talked about before, is this bone up on top of the collarbone, or up on top of the shoulder blade. The acromion has a small dip that the humeral head can go into, but it's not very big. So what has to happen is that we've got ligaments and we've got muscles that actually hold it in. That's why it is so much easier to dislocate your shoulder than it is to dislocate your hip. Hip dislocation is very difficult because the ball and socket for the hip is much deeper and it holds in there by itself. But with shoulder, we talked about we can have head to toe shoulder pain. We've talked about the temporal tendonitis, which is holding up places here, can cause relief in your shoulder. Now I want to talk about 2 points that are on your shoulder and that make up part of that shoulder, that rotator cuff. So the first one is large intestine 15. And large intestine 15, the easiest way to find large intestine 15 is to, if you notice, if you watch my shoulder right about here, I have myself in a fist. I'm just going to lift my arm up. If you see that divot right there, we'll try again. No divot, divot, right there. That is the location of large intestine 15. And large intestine 15 is on the front end of your rotator cuff. It is very close to the long head of the bicep tendon, which is almost actually on the long head of the bicep tendon, which runs from your bicep all the way up into and connects into the top of the shoulder. And so it actually connects into points in the acromion at the top here. So if your bicep tendon is out, then this area will hurt. But holding it, even if your bicep tendon is out, will actually give you a lot of good energy in. So working on that bicep tendon in that little divot will actually help increase good energy into your shoulder and reduce your shoulder pain. Now, if you have found large intestine 15, then if you take a pincer move and go to the back, pincer move to the back, that is small intestine 10, right back there. It is the pincer move on the opposite side. And so you can hold both large intestine 15 and small intestine 10 for acupressure, and that will help a lot of really direct shoulder pain, like shoulder pain in the shoulder ball, or shoulder pain in the front of the shoulder, or shoulder pain a little bit in the back of the shoulder. These two are great points to use when you have shoulder pain. So remember to find that long head of the bicep tendon, which is the location of large intestine 15. Make a fist, make like you're going to do a bicep curl, and then just lift up and you'll see a divot. That divot there is large intestine 15. Move to the back, pinch on the back, that's small intestine 10. And those two together will help give you good energy in with a sense of touch for shoulder pain. All right, I hope this has been helpful. I'm gonna shove my shoulder back in my coat and stay warm. And I want to let you know that next week we're going to be working on an internal thing. So we worked on structural this week. We're going to be working on internal. We're working on candida. Candida is acute fungal infections that can happen anywhere in the body. They can happen on the skin, they can happen in the sinuses, they can happen in the mouth, they can happen in the gut. And these acute fungal infections are treated in the medical community and in a lot of chiropractic offices as a condition. They're treated as a condition, and you will find that when we talk about this when we talk about it tomorrow, that's not what I believe. I don't believe candida is a condition that needs to be treated. I believe candida is a symptom of something else going on. And you can learn more about that tomorrow. So let's finish this off. Take a deep breath in and release. Have a great day. I'll see you here tomorrow.